Dreams of Another comes from developer Q Games, known for the Pixel Junk series of experimental puzzle games that gave the PlayStation Store its first real hits on PS3. The latest title comes from the mind of creative director Bayonne, and this might be his most daring and experimental creation yet.
Hey, get up here.
This is an adventure game that uses the basic foundation of third-person shooters to create a narrative-driven experience, where bullets don't destroy things, but instead help create and unveil things in a metaphysical world. Speaking of PS3, Dreams of Another really feels like a throwback to that era in many ways. It was a time when the platform was host to several experimental games that really pushed the games as art debate. Games like Journey, Flow, Rain, and the aforementioned Pixel Junk were trying new things with visual presentation and challenging tried and tested gameplay systems. This was a time when developers were really pushing the envelope in terms of what video games could achieve as an artistic medium. It was an interesting but also controversial time in gaming. The visual presentation of Dreams of Another alone makes a strong first impression. It's all very abstract and surrealist, using textures resembling an oil painting to create an intriguing and haunting atmosphere. It's no graphical powerhouse, but the visual style is used effectively to create a distinct tone. There are PS5 Pro enhancements, and for those brave enough to immerse themselves into the dream landscapes, there are PSVR 2 features as well. The adventure begins with one of the protagonists, known only as the Wandering Soldier. Here you're in a battle sequence, and like countless third-person shooters, there's a brief tutorial on controls and basic shooting. Then a couple of enemies show up, and the problem is that the Wandering Soldier can't seem to pull the trigger. That's okay, he runs into a storehouse nearby and goes incognito, a perfect setup for a stealth shot, but again, he just can't fire. The enemy soldier spots him soon enough, and suddenly they both come face to face. He gets one more chance, still can't shoot, and that's where his story ends. Or so it seems. For the remainder of the adventure, players take control of a man in pajamas. No backstory, no motives, just a complete stranger who is clearly sound asleep in the title screen. And from there, he embarks on several adventures which all take place inside dreams. Except these aren't his dreams at all. Instead, he appears to have full agency and control in worlds and spaces that are, quite literally, dreams of another. Traversing through these metaphysical spaces, our hero must make sense of his environments by digging through a fog of aura particles. Where the Wandering Soldier simply failed to use a firearm, he's more than happy to provide these to the Pajama Man, who uses a machine gun and later other weapons to shoot through these aura particles. Doing so doesn't actually kill or destroy anything. Instead, it not only reveals the environments for what they are, but even creates new objects. By constantly shooting through aura, players slowly but surely start to make sense of the game world, finding themselves exploring the dreams and memories of not just other people, but even the dreams of animals and inanimate objects. Much of the action involves unveiling objects and events to interact with, but the extensive use of firearms also plays a function in solving various environmental puzzles. There is surprising variety in the objectives, with each sequence giving players novel ways to approach the game world. While there may be a ton of shooting involved, this isn't a violent game by any stretch, nor is there anything that can harm the protagonist, and yet there is still depth to the core gameplay. It's no Gears of War designed for competitive play, but the mechanics are functional enough to get the most out of the intended game design. Some of the set pieces can get quite intense. For example, there's a point during the adventure where attempting to shoot down a Ferris wheel can almost feel like a boss battle. There are various objects and artifacts that players can collect, and each of these have an existential purpose, and for some reason the Wandering Soldier is especially interested in them. In exchange, he offers upgrades such as a longer dash ability, assists such as quest markers, and even new firearms such as grenades that can clear out more of the aura fog efficiently. More than anything else, the experience is about the story, and players will find one here that is profoundly intriguing and will encourage you to keep digging through. At first, it's really all about curiosity and discovery, as you're really not given much context of the premise to start with. So initially you're exploring seemingly disjointed fragments of random dreams, taking place in all sorts of locations such as amusement parks and even underwater, and you're going through events and memories involving people and even a family of moles. As you make progress on these fragmented events, expect to be thrown back to the title screen multiple times. This can feel confusing, but keep going back into the game, which might end up feeling like a case of Groundhog Day, but things do change in subtle and important ways. It almost feels like a roguelite where you're stuck inside a dream, inside of another dream, inside of another dream, like in Inception. But the disjointed narrative rarely ever feels convoluted. Various story threads do build into a cohesive narrative. The most rewarding part of the experience is when you finally see the story unfold and take shape before your eyes, where seemingly random and unrelated events suddenly come together and satisfying eureka moments. This is a fever dream that you will want to stick with. The main theme of it all centers around the philosophical notion of no creation without destruction, probing into deep existential questions that are delivered in a meaningful way thanks to some strong writing. The dialogue can feel a bit on the campy side due to the voice acting, but the actual writing is always thought-provoking. Don't be surprised if the story themes send you into a nihilistic dread. Dreams of Another is a daring artistic expression, turning the very idea of video game violence on its head. This isn't meant to be a polished shooter by any stretch, and while the action can get a bit tiresome, the process of unveiling a rich narrative only gets more intriguing, where a seemingly opaque setting and narrative slowly and surely starts to take form. It's a game that needs to be approached with an open mind, but once you decide to commit to the dream loop, its sense of discovery makes it worthwhile. Noisy Pixel is giving Dreams of Another an 8.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and thanks to our supporters on Patreon for making our coverage possible. Go to patreon.com/noisypixel if you'd like to join them and receive our monthly digital magazine in addition to our eternal thanks. Noisy Pixel is an independent operation working hard to bring you news, reviews, previews, and more. Leave a comment below to start a conversation, come talk nerdy with us in our community Discord, and subscribe to keep up with all of our future content.
Noisy Pixel.